Good morning, day, evening, or afternoon, fellow humans. My name is Katrina Collins. A quick disclaimer, this is not to be a substitute for any source of knowledge, be it medical, legal, health, fitness, whatever. I don't know a lot, and I want to share what I don't know, but I want everyone to understand that I don't know what I'm talking about. Most of the time, I am simply learning and repeating things that may or may not be true. Done with the disclaimer. Now the trigger warning. Trigger warning, this is not a safe place. Sorry, folks. There will be topics on everything under the sun because I'm going to take a little bit of knowledge from a lot of different folks who've had a significantly different experience on this planet that we call Earth. And so there's your disclaimer, there's your trigger warning. Do not listen any further if you will be offended by these words, because that is not my intention. My intention with this podcast is to amuse myself and to improve myself, and if fellow human beings are also improved in some type of way by listening to my stream of consciousness, well then, so be it. The stream of consciousness is a bit in talking like soliloquies, to quote Joe Rogan on how Kanye West speaks. I don't speak like that, but you will notice that I will change my accent every once in a while, and I may speak super duper fast and like really, really fast. Like I could talk like a disclaimer, like really, really fast. And so if you are disturbed by any of that, please stop listening now. Good, only the human beings who are able to understand that the magical power that words have is because, well, maybe you don't know, so let me tell you. Okay, so I think that the wonderful power that words have to influence others is something rather new to the evolution of Homo sapiens. I do believe that there was a point in time in history in which we did not have the vocalization skills. Anyway, now that we do have these wonderful things called vocal cords, and we can articulate much more than other animals. But speaking of animals for a moment, did you know that whining is universal? I didn't know that till college when I went over to Austria and heard a little kid go, "Bitte," whining to their mother for something or another. And then I have a dog now, Miss Pepper Potts, the most adorable 50-pound boxer that you will ever meet. And that is purely an opinion. But even the dog, when she wants attention, you know what she does? And isn't that annoying? I do not have kids. I am child-free. However, I have heard that babies also make such sounds before they are able to form these things that we call words. Some people find discomfort in the spaces between words. I intend to do my best to refrain from filling those tweens, as I like to call them. I will refrain as best I can from filling tweens of thought with words that are useless, like or or so. And my personal favorites that I like to incorporate into my vocabulary, as it has been pointed out, I've used them a little too often, a time or two. That would be the word like and know what I mean? So those are often overused in my vocabulary, and I am curious to see what else I will be overusing as I speak so freely and with such authority on things that I do not know. And so I will continue to share what I know about these things, these many, many things in the world that I learn about. But the more that I learn, the less I know. And when I had that thought, I knew I was not unique. I've learned over the years that my thoughts are not unique. My thoughts are simply part of this experience of life. And I don't know about you guys, but most people can tell you what they're thinking and feeling, but most people don't come to me and tell me that they choose their thoughts or that they choose their feelings or sensations. In fact, if we were able to do such things, I do not believe I would have such wonderful self-employment that I do. Anyway, I will continue to ramble like that, but there is a bit of other logistics that I thought might be advantageous to go over. I do have a Cash App for charitable contributions, keyword contributions, not a donation, which means not a tax deduction, because I am not a 500, I am a for-profit, okay? So if you want to make a Cash App contribution, you may do so. With the little name thing is Katrina Dragon. My handle for most things online is Katrina Dragon. That's Katrina with a K, Katrina Dragon. That is where I am online. That is where I am on most platforms online. And that is probably even how you are accessing this podcast, through some Katrina Dragon sort of situation. And the other logistic, I think, would be expectations. I've heard from many folks that consistency is key in developing and influencing others. However, I find that when people have overdeveloped, unrealistic expectations, well, that can be a little bit problematic for whomever it is that is producing the content. I know that I have a blog that could be described as neglected. However, I don't think that is a good or bad thing. It is just a thing. I will write again. I have written before and I will write again. It's just how that happens. But then if somebody is used to getting something day after day or week after week, I know if I don't get my certain podcast fixes, I'm like, So I would like to throw out one other thing about what I will be covering. The nonsensical, bizarre things that I may say or express to believe, I will not be held to as true, because I am telling you now that I am going to say things that may or may not make sense, may or may not be true. But as I said, this is a purely selfish podcast to amuse myself and then perhaps help myself. And if that happens to be like throwing a rock in a river, and that rock is having a wonderful time, and yet the ripples that spread throughout the rest of the body of water, well, they're affected as well. And whether they're affected in a good way or a not so good way, well, that is not my problem. I do respect everyone's thoughts, feelings, and sensations as their own and absolutely valid. But I do think there's some songs that I'll be quoting that encourage us to shit. I know if I don't get my daily or weekly fix of podcast or audiobook or whatever entertainment that I consume, I'm like, ah! And so with that, I will leave you to go about your day. Please return, but don't expect me, and then you will be significantly more delighted when I arrive. And to my future friend, Mr. Joe Rogan, I'm a witch, but not like in a weird kind of way, just in the I define magic as science that we don't really understand. And I actually learned about Tic Tac from that Fravor guy that Joe Rogan, you had him on your show. And I am speaking directly to Joe Rogan because when we have intention, things happen. And so I do have the intention of speaking to that man before he dies. And I do believe that he will live a long time as he is a quite healthy gentleman. And with that, please remember to like, comment, follow, share, blah, blah, blah. Do the things, call to action, contribute to Cash App, Katrina Dragon. Bye-bye.